Number two, please, 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 I literally wrote that down, please, please, please. If somehow there's an opportunity to improve our sports park field, they are, I think, again, it doesn't matter your political group or independence or belief or ideology, everyone agrees that goes there that we don't have very good athletic fields, and it's kind of embarrassing. And I don't want to improve it because I'm embarrassed by them. I just want to improve them because they need to be improved. So if there is a finance, again, opportunity, whether it's a mitigation involving a development or what have you, or some additional revenue funds that we've talked about, that may come up, I just want to keep that on the burner. And I also would throw in that context, not just improving the athletic field, but possibly adding some outdoor basketball courts, which do not exist, and outside the gym that's frankly unusual. And also a playground set, which I mentioned to you recently. It's very unusual not to have a playground set for the little kids to play while the older kids are playing soccer. And then finally, I'm very concerned that the rest of this would be bad, and other members of the other residents around town, about the increasing rise of crime, what I call misdemeanor crimes, statewide. It's not, you know, I noticed in the last election, every city, whenever there was an incumbent running, it was, oh, crime's gone up. Well, with all due respect, it's really not the city's fault or the sheriff's department's fault. It's Prop 47, Prop 57, you're seeing a rise of, and that's been a part of the homeless issue problem, etc. And I've been dealing with some ideas in the background with the business community and staff to try to think of some creative ideas about how to address it. And then the city manager has been very forward thinking about trying to be creative. But my point is, if there's an opportunity to add an additional deputy sheriff, I think that would be something very much appreciated by the residents and certainly by the council, given what has happened and what will continue to further happen. Very expensive, I understand that. And we're having, you know, it's a challenge, as you mentioned, with the future budget and revenue, to even maintain the services we have, let alone to add to that. But that would be something, if an opportunity arises, I'd like to really have the council and staff consider that. So Madam Mayor, those are my goals. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Marriott.
I'd let you swallow first.
No, yeah. Everything he said. So water, I mean, you know, my general philosophy of government is, local government is, let's start with the basics and make sure we're providing those properly in an appropriate cost. So water continues to eat at me. It's a great concern. I would love, you know, I heard Ben mention, say, about a year from now in a study, and it wasn't too long ago, I don't think it was necessarily from Ben, but I was hearing 6 months, and so I just feel like we have to develop some real sense of urgency about how we approach water. I don't know what the I won't say hold up, because I'm sure it's not that simple, but where we're kind of plodding along here with LAFCO and where we go from here, I'd love to see a greater sense of urgency. By the way, process-wise, so I don't know if the plan, Ben, is ultimately to fold all this into kind of your heat map ranking system, but I'm a great believer in consistency of process, and I think whatever the takeaway was last year, and that summary, however hard to read it was, it was a great format. So I hope we can kind of build on that instead of just, starting over this year and then that becomes last year. So, because I think it's very, very well done, and congratulations to you and the team on the progress in getting some items just knocked out completely. So water is very, very important to me. Zoning integrity is important as well, and it's not just a commercial dilemma. I'm a very strong believer that we need downtown revitalization, redevelopment. I guess my broad concern when we talk about the economy and things beyond our control is the interest rate environment. So we aren't just at a cyclically low interest rate environment, we're in a historically low interest rate environment. This is a very, very unusual time in our country's history. And it's not going to last forever. Fundamentally, it just can't. It's lasted a lot longer than many thought it would. And many people much smarter than I for that as well. So inevitably, it's going to impact us some, right? If we have developments that aren't finished, that aren't getting sold, there's the cost of those, additional road traffic and everything, truck traffic, etc. Even empty buildings have to have some safety thought process. I worry about the auto industry slowing down, so I think when we talk about commercial redevelopment, it would be nice to have something that's complementary and cyclically a little different than the auto industry and not so interest rate dependent. So I think that's something to give some thought to. When it comes to zoning integrity, this extends out into the neighborhoods too. In District 5, I heard a lot throughout the campaign from folks who just feel a sense of angst about the various congregate living facilities, whatever business they're in. That's just really what they are. They're in business. So whether it's starting down a path of commercial development, which is something that with a plot of land that's not currently zoned for it, or entitled for it, that to me is in fact problematic, as well as problematic for residential neighborhoods to slowly lose control of their ability to be R1 residentially zoned, where people can expect a certain type of neighborhood environment when they buy. Very complex issue, I realize. Open space and the integrity of our open space. I'll say it again, since there's so many folks here and we have kind of a relaxed environment where we're not so bound by rules, and Mr. Brown, whoever he was, we really have to think of open space, I believe, as an amenity that changes over time. So currently we have so many police per capita, and we know that is what it's supposed to be. We have so many school teachers per capita, and we know what that's supposed to be. And we have our ratio of open space to residents, and we know what that is, whatever it is. And that's not, the demand is not constant. So when we went through the golf course discussion, some folks said, well, we can't do anything with this piece of land now. Historically, we haven't been able to. And that's applied to other pieces of land in Northwest space. It's just now on the table to be fully built out. I would just ask you to remember, projecting out 15, 20, 25 years from now, we may well be a city of 51,000 people. Right, so square inch of open space relative to per capita means something, and what's not built out today can be built out tomorrow. So I don't want to rob the generations to the future of the space to make some decisions about down the road and enjoy. Budget is a concern. Derek always talks so eloquently about that, and that continues to be a concern, because I think not only would we would have the double whammy if interest rates go up, of losing revenue, probably slowing housing sales, and some of the stuff, you buy a new house, you go over and you buy some hardware stuff too, and so there's sales tax implications as well. So we would have the double whammy of revenue hit and also a loss of options or a change in our options for financing. So right now, we at least have the option of perhaps borrowing $9 million to get our streets in order and kind of reset that once and for all. I'm not necessarily advocating that, but it's a luxury just to have the conversation about it in today's interest rate environment. I think we probably do have the ability, and I don't know what our rate of debt is on the riding park, but my hunch is if we refinanced it several years ago, which I believe we did, we probably do have the ability to repay it and call it with taxable debt issuance, and that's very, very unusual. So especially if we get a AAA credit rating. So those are nice luxuries to have right now as possibilities that may not exist 2 or 3 years from now. So budget, I think, is something we should really focus on now while we have all our options. And then just my last pitch for continuity and consistency. I think that that sheet bed is so well done, and I've seen it. I don't have my reading glasses this morning, but I've seen it before and worked through it before. It's so well done, and everybody put the effort in last year, and the residents that had input in it last year, congratulations, because look at the progress, the definable progress that came from it. So again, I would just make my pitch to build on that, build this content into it, so that when we're sitting down a year from now, we can see further progress and see what goes on, what comes off, and what moves up. Thank you again for the opportunity.
And just so you know, that is the plan, is to build on that. And then next year, we'll create a whole new one. So, but obviously, it always has to build on it. So, it's nefarious.
Mayor Pro Tem Farias, thank you all for coming out. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. When it comes to SDG&E and we talk about costs, there's a much larger cost to the project actually going forward and our property value. So residents there have been paying property taxes for years. Many of us have lived there for 30 plus. I know I see Kathleen over there, and so that's our money. You know, and so I want to say I'm going to make it a priority to continue to fight the expansion of that project. And you could figure this one out again, then kind of like Councilmember Reed did. You figure out where it goes. More law enforcement, you know, the costs are going up, but I think we need more. We need more code enforcement officers. They do a wonderful job. Let's see, improve the financial situation of our city. I think that's extremely important. Let's see, the skate park, more recreational facilities. Something I already brought up was our playground equipment. I don't believe any of them are even ADA compliant, so we do have a situation there. Modernizing our infrastructure. Currently in the state and the federal government is giving money for EV and electric vehicle infrastructures. I think that's important. The LED lighting, modernizing our city's irrigation systems. I understand we have an extremely dated system. It's very important to be able to adjust the amount of water you're spending by the minute or second, if that's possible, and not having staff having to lobby the FCC I don't know how often you do it, but, and stability with our staff. I think we have a wonderful staff. I think they do a wonderful job. Thank you all for putting this together. Street maintenance is, I just got back from Sacramento, and we're not the only ones that have this issue. You know, I thought maybe I'll go across the street to the Capitol and go ask for some money, and after talking to about 30 other city council members from several other cities, they all have the same issue. I think that Ben brings up some opportunities for us, and I would like our city manager to pursue possibly the financing of several $1 million to get us ahead on this. I think it would cost us like $30 million to even get our streets to the situation where, you know, there are streets, I think, what would we get up to, maybe a B? We're at a C minus right now, from what I understand.
We think over 10 years, it would take $30 million to get probably to where we want to be. It's a lot of money, but.
That's it for me, thanks.
Well, first of all, I would really like to see the backup documentation with respect to the recycled water being piped into the riding park. We've owned that park for about, I think, 8 years now, and so I don't understand why all of a sudden this is an urgent requirement. So that's one thing that I think we need to look into at least, because I believe that's about a $500,000 expenditure. I think that, I mean, obviously we have money issues, and I think that we need more accounting transparency. The council should have monthly financials with an income and expense and balance sheet. And I want to see both sides of the ledger, or the transactions for the checks. Actually, what I would like to see on the consent calendar when these checks are coming up for approval is both sides of the transaction, the name of the accounts that it's coming from, not just the 16-digit long number, so that we really understand where the money's coming from and what we're paying for. And then I would like to see a year-to-date under column as to what we've spent in and out of those accounts, and then the percentage of budget to see if we're on budget or if we're over budget or if we're under budget. One of the applicants, when we were going through this lengthy process of picking a city manager, was a city manager, I think possibly from up north, who had a 20-year plan with respect to finances. And I think that we need to do that so that we really know the direction on the long term where the city is heading financially, and that we stick to it. Because I think that we leave a lot of things to chance with respect to our finances, and it shows in the financial health of the city. So, anyway, bottom line is that I think we need monthly financials. We need to modify the reports that we're getting so we understand. We need the names of the accounts so we can tell where this money is coming from. And, just as I said, just if are we on budget, are we not on budget? I mean, one thing, I think that we also should have a workshop similar to this, and however long it takes to get through this, I think we should go line item by line item on these expenses that we're incurring on a monthly basis. I know with respect to, and I know this is going to sound trivial, but it's the aggregate that ends us getting us in trouble with these expenses. So there are those doggy bags that are at the parks, and I was going through and I was asking, what these different expenditures were for, and the amount of money that we are spending for those doggy bags is outrageous. So I went online and I did my own price comparison, and we could get these bags for 1/10 of the price. So we do not have, in my opinion, the luxury of overspending for anything. We should be getting free price quotes on everything. And I actually would like to see that sort of backup documentation so that we know that we're getting the best for, the most for our money. I mean, quite frankly, we have, this is a fiduciary duty to the residents of this community that we are spending this money wisely. And I don't have a sense that we're handling this properly. So 18 months ago, we had a presentation during a council meeting for LED lighting, which would save, first of all, provide better lighting to the city and save us a lot of money. So we still haven't acted on that. And so again, it's like, do we really have money to burn? Then we also, 14 months ago, there was a smart watering system. There was a smart watering system that I became aware of through Frank Urey, we were at a mayor's breakfast that morning. Mission Viejo has not only been saving tons of water consumption, so they're saving, they're in accordance with the drought plan. they're saving tons of money by putting this smart watering system in place. So I brought that, quite frankly, to the attention of then interim city manager Keith Till immediately that morning. And I said, we need to get this plan in place. So again, it's now 14 months later, and so for 14 months, we've been wasting money with respect to the cost of water, and also we were being frivolous with the water that we're supposed to be preserving because of this drought. So that's also an issue.
Council, I believe you also brought it to council. We voted to go ahead and at least study that.
Well,
Somewhere.
so that's a lot of money right there that we could have been saving over the last year and a few months. Another thing that I believe, it would save us money by adhering to the general plan, the Historic Town Center Master Plan, the Los Rios specific plan. So, and when I presented Dr. Roy Burns with a Lifetime Achievement Award, I read, because he was instrumental in getting that general plan in place. This is what the general plan states. The underlying philosophy of the general plan should be to preserve the present character of a small village-like community with abundant open space. A community that recognizes the contributions of its historic and cultural foundation is in harmony with its natural valley-like setting as defined by its creeks and ridgelines, and strive to embrace unique solutions to issues that may arise in the future to ensure that this vision continues to be carried forward for future generations. So the election in 2014 was won by a very large majority of what I call preservationists in town. And they want the general plan to be followed.